Welcome into Junior College Hard 90. Brackets have been announced, tournaments have been seeded, and all three divisions of NJCAA World Series start on Saturday. I'm Zach McKinstry, that's Noah Sharp, and we are ready to break down these tournaments matchup by matchup, Noah.
Man, now that we're here, I feel like every year the season gets quicker. Like it feels like yesterday, I'm like, oh, okay, we got some of this Johnson County team seems to be like doing okay. They seem to be doing what they're and now we're at Enid and Grand Junction and Johnson City, and there's plenty of records that can be broken. There's a couple that I have like be on alert, obviously, but man, I'm jealous you get to go out there. One of these years, I will make it out there to Grand Junction, one of them. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But man, it's there's a lot to cover, and I don't think I'll be as bold as last year. I'm not as mad as I was last year about some of the selections, but I'm here. I'm ready. Let's talk some World Series National Championship baseball.
Yeah, and I mentioned it on the selection show yesterday, but I feel like this year has just been way more chaos and record breaking and everything that goes with that all season long. So let's start with the JUCO World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. Here's a look at the bracket if you haven't seen it already. So the first game is on Saturday, and it's going to be last year's runner-up Walter State, led by Holden Pantier, and the 7-seed Seminole State in their first trip to Grand Junction since 2009.
Man, if it wasn't for Johnson County, I would say Walter State is the best hitting team in this entire field, and that's including Hartford. Like the hitting in Grand Junction this year might be the best all time. Like you have, starting with Walter State though, you've got one of the three junior college finalists on the hitter side for the small college baseball player of the year in Holden Pantier. Like dude's I think we said 19 RBIs away from the all-time RBI record. I think he's close to the single season base hit record. Like they can pitch it, they can swing it, and he was a big piece of that team last year that fell just short to Salt Lake on their magical run. So, Walter State, what a way to start it. I hope they rock those their grays. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. They're all grays. They're not like a normal gray, but those are awesome. And then Seminole State, extra base hits, like that's like when you look at them, you got the doubles, you've got the triples, you've got home runs, but they kind of are they're all spread out. It's not like one or two guys. Like you've got I think it's McCoy, and there's one other guy. I had it written down. Let me see. I had it on another note, but they're there for the first time in forever. Mac Chambers there. He's been knocking on the door there for that region, especially since the regions kind of changed and the districts changed with losing Region 23, and kind of now it's the best of Region 16 and Region 2. But it's been, a rotating door there, and Seminole State finally getting back for the first time. I think it's in like 20-something years, but it's going to be for a first-round matchup. You got red, white, and blue and red, white, and blue. So, you got a little patriotic matchup going on there and some great jerseys, whether Seminole State rocks the pinstripes and Walter State rocks the grays or the reds. But this is a great, great matchup to kick off a great week of baseball.
Yeah, we actually had Walter State in studio. They played Charlotte in fall ball this year, so we got to chat with them and Holden and the rest of that team, and you could tell in the fall the vision was the same, and they have gone out and executed. And then, yeah, you mentioned Mac Chambers, so it's Seminole State's first time since 2009 in Grand Junction, and he's got his team rolling. So as we move on from Game 1, let's go to Game 2 on Saturday, and it's the top seed and the lowest seed, 1v10. Really no surprise that the 1 seed is Johnson County, but I know a little bit of surprise for you with Hartford being the 10.
Now, I do get why Hartford is the 10, and it has to do with the regional bias stuff. Like, oh, they play up in the Northeast. It's not as tough. But, man, I think as a team, Hartford's hitting 400. They've got some great pitchers. They've got, led by Kyle Tuthill, I think is how you pronounce the last name. But, to get drawn with this Johnson County team that can arguably go down as the greatest power hitting team of all time. Like, I don't even think it's an argument, really. You're the first team to ever hit 200 home runs at any level of college baseball in a single season. So there's that. And for Johnson County, you got two finalists or semifinalists, I should say, on the small college baseball player of the year with Liam Roach and Ryan Bradford, both 14-0 and 41 home runs and counting. Like, Hartford's got the work cut out for them. If I was Hartford and I was wanting to win Game 1, I would say let's try to outslug a slugfest and throw Kyle that game too. But when talking with them, they've got a plan. And I'm just going to leave it at that. They've got a plan. That's all I was told. But it's going to be a great, I mean, for what, game two on a Saturday afternoon? I might hope, we'll see if my son's still playing in his playoffs, but I might be glued to my phone a little bit while watching two baseball games at the same time. But
Yeah.
man, a this is going to be a great matchup, another great uniform matchup, whether you're going with the pinstripes and with the dark blue or the bright yellows with, I mean, Hartford's got some sick baby blues. So great matchup. It's unfortunate that Hartford got the draw they did. I had them a little bit higher, but I mean, this is another one this is going to be hopefully Grand Junction has enough fireworks this year as a whole. I think the total home run record, which was set last year, is in jeopardy. Like that's plain and simple with the teams that are there.
100%. And yeah, really the whole opening slate on Saturday and Sunday in Division One baseball is going to be really good matchups, pretty evenly balanced. And you got the number one seed Johnson County that's put together better stats than a lot of teams over the last 10, 20 years against a team that's hitting 400 at the plate. So fireworks to ensue for sure. Let's move to the 2-9 matchup. It's Blinn and Salt Lake. The Buccaneers have won 12 straight, and the pitching looking really good for Dusty Hart's crew. But they get tested with the defending national champ, who has kind of somehow found a way to make it through into Grand Junction once again.
I mean, Salt Lake, we said at the beginning of the year, they're close to the same group. They were a younger group, but they lost a bunch of big key pieces. And I mean, they're here again. The West, this is another seed. I thought they'd give a little bit more credit to Salt Lake as a whole, just being that they are the defending champs. They might get a little bit more street cred, I guess, for doing that last year. But Blinn, man, we say it every year. I mean, Blinn knows how to pitch. This is their fourth straight trip. And I mean, hey, Dusty gets to bring his team along with him this year. I mean, he was already going to be in Grand Junction. Might as well bring the team with him, being inducted there in the Hall of Fame. But man, they're gonna. I mean, what I think it was the last game of their super. They had a guy throw a no hitter, and then they handled Northeast Texas. I mean, Salt Lake, he had to handle a really tough. Like that West region was a lot deeper than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be, with Southeast, with Northeast, and then with Central Arizona. But again, this is going to be just. I could see this game being the lowest scoring game of the opening slate, just because both are real pitching heavy. They're not. I mean, they hit sure, but it's not these are probably the two lowest power hitting teams in the entire field, and they just luckily get matched up together. So it's going to be probably a really low scoring, kind of grinded out who comes out of this game. But yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to the final matchup on Saturday night. It's the 3 and the 8 Midland and Wabash Valley. This is one of the more intriguing matchups to me. Midland kind of slugged their way through one of the toughest districts in the country. They put up 50 win, and they have some freshmen leading the way. And then meanwhile, Wabash Valley has the Magic on their side, fighting through the Midwest District with that unbelievable walk-off homer against Iowa Western to punch their ticket.
So this is going to age me a bit, but the last time Midland went to the World Series was my first year at Angelo State, which was right after they beat us at Howard in 2013. So like, I'm old now, I guess officially. Like, it's been a while, but man, Midland they've really slugged it out. I mean, I think they have 2 or 3 or 4 guys hitting double-digit home runs, which I mean that's par for the course with this field. But I mean, getting out of and handling the teams the way they did, they slugged through Howard, they slugged through McLennan, Weatherford, handled their business there. They did drop a game early to Hill, that first game of their regional, which kind of surprised a lot of people. But I mean, after that, it was foot on the gas, and they just got there. And then for Wabash Valley, it's now thinking about it. Before we started, I said, "Oh, I don't have any funky random takes. This might be one." Wabash Valley had to handle Johnny Logan. Midland is built a lot like Johnny Logan. Just they've got some power hitters. They got a bunch of guys that can just get it done. And Wabash Valley was finally the team that handled Johnny Logan in a way. So they've faced a team like Midland before in Johnny Logan. So I guess it's the same as last year's Blinn versus Lakeland matchup, where I'm like, well, they had to get through the pitching, and here they are. So if there is an upset, I guess, in the first round, I could see it being this one, just because Wabash has faced this kind of team before and has handled it. And I mean, obviously they've been to Grand Junction more recent. what they lost the national championship 3 years ago, I think, to Central Florida. Probably the longest. I think it is the longest game in World Series history, and I ended up falling asleep in like the 13th inning because I just couldn't keep up with it. But I know that game ended in a crazy, crazy way. But if I guess in first round matchups, this would be the one where I could see there being an quote unquote upset, but really I don't think like there's much. It's not a big gap between these two teams talent wise. Just the number beside them is upset alert territory, I guess.
Really looking forward to Midland and to Wabash Valley as the 3-8 on Saturday night. Lastly, for Division One, the 5 and 6 matchups on Sunday. The 5 seed LSU Eunice against the 6 Miami-Dade. First time that the Bengals will play in Grand Junction, and they do so against a feisty Miami-Dade team that has battled their way through Florida. So the 5 and 6 matchup, usually the favorable spot to have play. You're playing less games than the rest of the way the bracket shakes out. So who do you have in this matchup between Eunice and Miami-Dade?
So Eunice getting there, like Jeff Willis is no stranger at all to the World Series. I think what they've gone to, I think 12 or 13, and they have 8 national titles. But again, those are all Division Two. And once they made this jump to Division One, it was kind of like, well, let's see what happens. And then obviously they didn't go last year in their first year. Now they're here this year in a crazy, crazy district final there with Shelton State going all 3 games. But man, it's that the Bayou knows how to get it done. It's crazy. They're gonna bring the the crawfish to the Rocky Mountains. Like I'm for that. If anyone knows me, you know how I feel about Cajun food, and I will eat it any day, all day, twice a day if I could. But then you have Miami-Dade, and this is probably the one seed. I know I was texting you during the selection show, and I was just like, where are they? And then it being in this game, um, they're just scrappy. Like I don't know what else to say. They're nothing for me like jumps off the page like any of these other teams where it's like, oh, these two guys are just way above everyone else. Like they are just scrappy. They know how to get it done. They handled Chipola. They handled Central Florida. They handled Florida Southwestern. They handled Northwest Florida. Like I'm pretty sure they swept through the district tournament too, which doing that in Florida is not easy, but it's going to be just a really interesting matchup just because you've got a team that's a first time team there that's still the same LSU Eunice team that you'd have at Division Two, who's just going to come out and blow people out of the water. But then you got a Miami-Dade team that seems to slow everyone else down. So it's kind of I it's going to be interesting for sure. And what this is the early game on Saturday, so it's going to be interesting, but I'll just leave it. It's going to be interesting because I want to see how these two, because they're really different play styles from like how I would think that they would be.
Yeah, early game on Sunday. The Sharks and the Bengals is the final first round matchup in this JUCO World Series. So predictions for the D1 JUCO World Series. Noah, who do you got winning in Grand Junction?
So everyone knows that if I'm picking you to win, it's some curse. I finally had 2 teams right last year, so we're getting better at this. But I think all year I've said all year Johnson County has built a team that they want to win in Grand Junction, and they did what they did in the regular season, and now they're here. So they have this team that is meant to hit the long ball, but then they also don't give up runs. I have them winning it. I have them sweeping the just running through the whole thing. But I mean, I think yeah, I have a this please baseball Grand Junction gods, please let a Walter State Johnson County Memorial Day night game please like the home like that. Oh my gosh. I'm if that happens, Zach, I'll be so jealous that you're there. But granted, I'll be watching it too. But the amount of just like I have them inevitably meeting again in the national semifinals, but then ended up playing in Johnson County for the national championship. But man, it's gonna be it. It's a great tournament. One of these years I need to get out there, but I think it's Johnson County can pitch, they can hit. Like I think obviously the all-time home run record for a single season is going to be blown out of the water. I hope, and this is me being an Oklahoma State fan, a record I never thought would fall, might fall, and I'm completely okay with it falling in the way it could happen in 2 games. Like it's going to be Grand Junction. Please have enough fireworks. That's Johnson County. I know me picking teams to win it is never good. But man, I don't know. I can't see any other team. I guess Walter State matches up well, but then after that, it seems like Johnson County's and they've shown they can come from behind in losers brackets. They've what, 2 walk-off wins in the regular season. Like they've been tested and they've proved it that they can win blowouts, they can win close games, they can come from the losers bracket. Like I don't really have any other like it probably sounds boring being the one sweeping it, but yeah.
It's going to be fun to find out. Can Johnson County hold up with the national spotlight and the pressure on target on their back? So anyway, it's going to be a really fun JUCO World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. We are going to step aside to a break. We still have the D2 and D3 World Series to go over, so don't go anywhere. When we come back, we break down the field in Enid, Oklahoma. Stay with us.
For the last 87 years, the NJCAA has provided academic and athletic opportunities to thousands of student athletes. However, several rules make it more challenging for two-year college transfers. Recently, 16 national coaches associations, led by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association, sent a request for change to NCAA leadership to make the rules the same for all transfers. We commend their leadership and stand together in support of same game, same rules.
Good morning.
Why so serious? Great shot.
Car's 250. He got it.
Greenside bunker, land short.
Trust you on. There's plenty of green.
Breaks towards the water.
Lots of coaching today, huh? We're one up.
When you strive to be the best, you need the right insights. Zurich has insurance solutions and risk strategies to help prepare your business for tomorrow.
Welcome back to the NJCAA Network and Junior College Hard 90. Let's dive into Division II in Enid, Oklahoma, and this tournament field is loaded as well. So first matchup in this one, Iowa Central and Monroe go head-to-head in Game 1. Winner of that one gets Pearl River. Both teams with really solid bats at the plate, and this is going to be a fun opening round section with Pearl River, one of the at-large bids waiting in the wings.
This was one of the at-large bids that I think everyone knew was coming. It was one of those like, okay, they ended the season #1. You got bounced by a team in your regional, and then that team ended up going to Grand Junction. Sorry, let's switch the brain to Enid. So it was kind of like most people I think thought Pearl River was kind of a lock there, but man, this opening round matchup with Iowa Central and Monroe, again, like I think Monroe's a little bit more of a contact hitting team. They don't have like the big power numbers, and unfortunately for Iowa Central, if it wasn't for Johnson County, they'd be on national record of home runs watch because they're at 181. The record was 188. It's now 204 and counting. But man, it's going to be an interesting matchup for both of them, whoever comes out of there with getting Pearl River. Because, I mean, Pearl River, they left it up to chance, and that is not how they like to play. So that they're going to come out that first game, and it is just going to be unload the clip on this first game to show that we deserve to be here. And like you pick the right team, and then I mean with whoever the loser gets in that second game for them of the tournament, I hate that draw. If you don't want to win, but you don't want to lose, but whoever you're getting in either direction is not going to be a fun matchup. But it's this bracket is definitely not. This is probably I'd probably say through and through. It's probably the closest like talent. Like it's no one really surprised anybody. There wasn't any big upsets, and there's no easy path. There's not an easy path to win this title this year.
Yeah, and that theme continues with the next matchup as well. Jones, the 6th seed, they play Frederick in their opening round matchup, and the winner gets Madison. That is 2 really tough teams that get this draw in game number 2 of this tournament.
So if I was Jones, and I don't know their guys too well, but I would have the world's biggest chip on my shoulder because all year, this was another one of those things I've been saying all year. Jones was tired of being the little brother. They were tired of being the number 3 behind East Central, behind Pearl River. And who came out and won the district in the region? Jones did. But who's the lowest seed once you got to Enid? Jones. So like they're still in that little brother mode. Like, so I would hate to be Frederick, but then from Frederick, you always get kind of looked down upon in Region 20. And the funny thing is, I think I texted you this, but my preseason number 1 team was Frederick. The team that I ended the year number 1 was Madison. Like, hey, I did pretty good there. But I mean, Frederick, I mean, they returned a big crew of that team from last year. They're back again this year. They can pitch it, they can hit it, but they're probably a little bit more of a scrappier team. They're not going to surprise you with power. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup here with kind of that Northeast style mixed with the Mississippi. Like, we're going to slug it out, but also they've got a crazy, crazy pitcher closer, 20 appearances. I think he's like 10-1 with like 5 or 6 saves. But it's going to be a really, really interesting matchup there. I hate that, like I said, there's no easy. You win, okay, you get Madison, who went to Arizona to start the year, and then everyone's kind of like, okay, I think they beat South Mountain when they went down there. They played Central Arizona, they played the big dogs, and then they were backloaded. So the last 3-4 weeks of the season, they're playing 6, 7, 8 games in a week. And so then they just start racking up the wins that way. And in Region 4, that's not easy to do with the likes of Kankakee, Blackhawk, even with like Oakton at Division 3 or South Suburban Division 1. Like, you're having to play all those guys, and they're winning. They're going 8-1, 7-2, like, and they did that down the back half of the stretch. So them playing a lot of games in a row, Madison is set up for, if they do end up getting in the losers bracket, they've played 9 games in a week and have come out only losing 1 game. So they're a team that if they were to get into the losers bracket and have to play a ton of games in a row, they can do it just because of how their regional and how their conference schedule matches up. But it's, I guess, in any bracket, when you go to the 2 side, oh, this is like real congested and it's not easy. But like this is a ridiculously tough side of the bracket from 11 to freaking 2. Like, there's no easy path again. And then there's the other side, which is a whole nother story. But man, it's gonna be just crazy. But I have Madison coming out of this side somehow. But I wouldn't be upset with any of the teams here, but I think Madison has, whether it's through the winners bracket, whether it's through the losers bracket, they've got the pitching, they've got the hitting to get out of just this crazy gauntlet of a thing. And they've shown they can play against the top teams in Arizona, top teams in their region, top teams in any other region. Like, it's going to come down to Madison and Pearl probably. I'd be really surprised if it didn't, but then also I'd be super excited because that means it's funner to cover. But man, this for this first half of this bracket is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and let's move to the other half where it doesn't get much easier. You got South Mountain versus Parkland, and the winner gets the number 1 seeded Kellogg. Parkland and the Cobras have been really solid all season long, and then the 1 seed Kellogg really strong to close to their end of the season to get that top spot.
This is another one that's going to be interesting. And South Mountain probably really sets up well to face this Parkland team. If you know anything about Parkland, their last 2 or 3 coaches are now in pro ball, and they're both pitching coordinators in the minor league systems. And nothing has changed, and that Parkland knows how to pitch. Like, they have done that for years, and this year is no exception. I think they had a guy earlier, or one of the last weeks of the year, threw 2 complete games in the same week, like a Monday game and then like a Saturday game or something. So like, they're going to know how to pitch. And then for South Mountain, you've already, I'm pretty sure, played Madison, and then you're playing for Arizona. You're playing Central Arizonas. You're playing Arizona Westerns, Cochises. So they're not used to having to face, or they're used to facing tough pitching. And then historically, a team out of Arizona, their record is not what South Mountain's is. I think it's 45 and something. Like, they've got a predominant, like, we have a winning record here in Arizona coming out as a Division II team. And I think a couple years ago when Mesa came, they were closer to 500. So it's like, hey, we have this 500 team. Well, okay, their record is not indicative of how good they are just because of that region. But I mean, Parkland and Kellogg, South Mountain, whoever ends up, again, whoever you win, you don't want to face Kellogg, but whoever you lose, you don't want to face that team from that side. So it's, again, just this might be the deepest Division II bracket there's been in a long time. And you could throw a pin and probably hit the national title winner, and you couldn't argue it, or you couldn't, like, oh no, I couldn't see that. Like, I could see any team here getting hot and going down the stretch, and just, I mean, Parkland comes in handling Heartland, and like handling Heartland, who's not an easy team to get past.
Yeah, they were on the at-large bubble as well. East Central took that final at-large spot. They'll play Wake Tech, and the winner of that one goes on to play Pasco Hernando State, the defending national champion. So another tough section of this bracket in the bottom right.
I mean, East Central, that was one that I'm not surprised that they got the at-large bid. I thought it might go a different direction just because obviously this is the second or third year there's been 2 at-large bids, and they've never come from the same region. So I thought it was a reach. I understand why, but I thought it was a little bit of a reach if it was going to happen. But I mean, East Central has shown year in. I think they've been number 1 for y'all at one point this year. They were number 1 for me for a bit. Pearl River's been number 1. So I mean, you've got the 2, 3, 4 top teams throughout the entire season there in Enid. And then Wake Tech just got hot in a really deep. I mean, y'all are out there. Y'all know about Region 10. Like it is not an easy Division 2 region to get through. And Wake Tech just got hot at the right time. And at this time of year, that might be all you need. It's just to get hot at the right time and go on a run. Now, I think East Central is a little bit more of a power to deal with than some of those Region 10 teams, but so this first round, I'd probably say it goes in East Central's favor just a little bit, but it's again, like if Wake Tech continues their hot streak down the stretch, like I wouldn't be surprised. And then you get the defending national champs who have had a chip on their shoulder all year, not winning their conference, and then being the 2 seed, and then sweeping the region tournament, and then handling handling Alabama the way they did, like dropping that first game and then going on a run. Like, so Pasco Hernando likes to play with a chip on their shoulder. They're a team that likes to be doubted. I mean, I think this year's team, they're a little bit more on the hitting side than last year. I mean, you had I can't think of his Stavino or whatever, their ace from last year, who just was otherworldly with strikeouts and just no one that was ever getting on. So they don't have like that same style of just like one true ace and the other guys will just follow suit. It's kind of a more balanced pitching staff throughout, but then their hitting is a little bit better than years past. But I mean, looking at this side of the bracket like I did the other side, I ended up coming down to Parkland versus Pasco in the finals, and I probably battled with myself on more and more who I thought was going to come out of this side between those two, and I ended up going Pasco to get back to the national championship. But there's 3 or 4 teams that you can make the case that they get hot or they keep going, and it's going to end with you in the finals. Like it's just. This was harder this year to try and figure out who's gonna make it to the World Series. Or the final game. I stressed more about this one than others. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit of it already, but let's transition straight into predictions. What do you got out of this crazy D2 field?
So I end up having the final 4 was Madison versus Pearl River, with Madison taking it, and then Pasco Hernando versus Parkland, with Pasco taking it. For a Madison-Pasco Hernando final, but having Madison win it, taking it, showing cold weather bats are a real thing, bringing it back to Region 4, which I don't think has happened in a long time. I think since Kankakee won it in 2016 maybe? Or no, that was Jones. But regardless, like Region 4 hasn't won it in a long time. But Madison, I think they, again, like I said earlier, they have the pitching depth. They've shown they can win a ton of games if they get in that loser's bracket. They've got the pitching depth to go. They can hit. It's going to be obviously not the pick. I think a lot of people would look at this like they're not the pretty team. They're not the team that, I guess, they're not the Pearl River. They're not the defending champs. They're not Parkland. They're not the pretty team that you usually would see being there. But I mean, I really like Madison. It's probably going to ruffle some people's feathers the wrong way, but that's why I'm here, to give some funky take like that.
Yeah, no love for Mississippi either. Any of the 3 Mississippi teams in there. But it's going to be a lot of fun regardless of how it plays out. Really talented teams, really evenly balanced competition all the way through. So excited to see what happens in Enid starting on Saturday. All right, one more break, and then we wrap up with Division III in Johnson City, Tennessee. The 8 teams there in those 4 opening round matchups. We're back in a moment on JUCO Hard 90.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Welcome back to JUCO Hard 90. Let's wrap things up with Division III in Johnson City, Tennessee. 8 teams are in. They are seeded, and it starts with the first game, the 6 and the 3. Northern Essex is in as the 6 seed, the 3 seed SUNY Niagara. That's going to be a fun opening round matchup with the pitching that Essex has and the bats that Niagara has this season.
Yeah, and I mean, Essex this is like what, their fifth or 6th year there in a row, I think, if I'm remembering right. It's some crazy streak. I guess not there in Johnson County or Johnson City specifically, but at the Division III World Series. And I mean, I know SUNY Niagara has a sour taste in their mouth after what happened in their first round matchup last year, so they are not going to come in easy. But I mean, like you said, the pitching versus the hitting. But I mean, I think the edge goes a bit to SUNY Niagara there. They've been there, and they're wanting to show that, hey, last year we made a mistake in the first round, and we took a team lighter than we should have. And I mean, they're not going to want that to happen. I mean, they had to come out of a gauntlet of a region, Region 3 final with the likes of Herc and with Hudson Valley, who both were on that Division 3 bubble for getting the at-large bid there. But I think SUNY should handle this one, but it's going to, again, could be the pitching just overwhelms them a bit, but with what they've had to face in the regular season in that district tournament, like it'd be hard for me to say SUNY's not playing in that second round game on the winner's bracket, but I've been surprised.
Yeah, and then still whoever loses in the opening round in Division III can fight through the loser's bracket to get back. Moving to the next game, we get the 7 seed Caldwell Tech and the 2 seed RCSJ Gloucester. 3-time defending national champ, the Roadrunners, trying to make it 4 in a row. They start against a Cobra side that fought through Region 10 and this Atlantic area to make it to Johnson City.
So, I mean, Gloucester is trying to do what I think only one other team has done, which is win 4 in a row, and that's Tyler back in, was it 12-16 or 13-17, somewhere in that time range. But man, Gloucester has shown, I mean, all year this was another team where we said, okay, Gloucester's going to beat Gloucester at some point. They know how to win. They had a really rough kind of stretch there in the middle of the year where, hey, you're kind of seeing they're not the same team that they were, but they still are going to have the talent. They're still going to have the guys to get it done. And then Caldwell Tech, I mean, they've been that top team there in Region 10 all year long, and it's the unfortunate thing for them that they're getting the 3-time defending national champs in the first round, and they do match up fairly well on paper, but I'd have to give the edge here to Gloucester just because it's been there, done that, and Caldwell, it's been a while since they've been here, so we'll see. But again, you win, you get either a Northern Essex team that is going to pitch circles around you, or you're going to get a SUNY Niagara team that's going to hit it. And if you go to the loser's bracket, you get so this side isn't easy at all. Again, this is a lot like the Division II where it's deep. It's only 8 teams, but it's a deep 8 teams, and it's going to be fun to see who comes out. And I do love how this bracket, even though it's weird at first when you look at it, the loser, they flip sides, but I do like how it ends up shaping up in the end.
Moving on, other side of the bracket, the 8-1, Oakton and Dallas Eastfield is going to be a fun 8-1 matchup. What do you got in this one?
Okay. How can I put this in nice ways? Let's just say Eastfield has shown that they are a power. Like they missed last year, and all they've done all year is destroy baseballs. And they can pitch it. You got Ben Shepherd, you've got Sebastian. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, but a 1-2 punch that I'm sure they're going to come out and throw Ben Shepherd the first game, and Sebastian's going to do what Sebastian does. And I like for a 1-8, this in my head, this is a true 1-8. Like yep, Oakton's the 8 seed here, and Eastfield's the 1 seed, and Eastfield, I mean, what? They didn't go last year, but they lost 3 straight national titles before missing last year. So they want to show that they are finally like, hey, we are this team. And I believe earlier this year they had the 20th reunion of their last national championship team. So like maybe the baseball gods have sprinkling some stuff there for them, but Eastfield is going to be a problem for anyone that they have to face this year. And I mean, Oakton could pull it out. I mean, again, they're playing in a tough, deep Region 4. They had to get through Region 12 and Terra State. But then in Region 4, you're having to face the Division 1s and Division 2s. And again, that's why their record is the way it is, because you're having to play Division 2s, Division 1 teams for just your regular season conference schedule. But I mean, I think it's just Eastfield's just going to be too much for Oakton, and it's going to be an issue for whoever. I could see it being a run rule. I could see it being I don't know. I don't see a way. I've been wrong, but Eastfield is just on paper and from what I've seen, just they're at one level, and Oakton, from what I've seen, is just a little bit different level. They're at the World Series. It's great, but just kind of the way this shapes up, it's hard to see any way that Oakton can come out. But if they do, hey, last year I had a 1-8 prediction come true. So I could be on the exact opposite end of it here with how this shapes up.
Yeah, and some bulletin board material for Oakton as they take on the Harvester Bees in the opening round. So final opening round matchup is the 5-4. Brookdale gets the lone at-large bid, and they will play the winner from Minnesota, Alexandria Tech, and the Legends in their first ever trip to the D3 World Series.
So I'm super excited that Brookdale made it. This is another one of those, hey, I had them preseason number 1 and no one else did. And hey, we're at the World Series. I mean, it is very unfortunate from what happened in the district tournament there, with just a crazy you're gonna win it, and then a walk-off home run, and then you're up 17, and now you're down 4. Like that swing of just craziness. I know I got a couple messages from a couple other players just like, hey, yep, we made a mistake, and we're not gonna let that happen again. So like, and kind of the same thing like Pearl River, they're gonna, hey, we left it up to chance, and we do not want to show that you picked the wrong team here. So it's unfortunate for Alexandria Tech, but they have to, like, that's who you get in the first round, is a team that, hey, we've been one of the top teams all year, and then we stumbled in the regional the way we did, and now we need to prove that that was a mistake. So like, that's unfortunate for Alexandria, but I mean, Alexandria Tech's been that top team in a really tough Minnesota, Dakota region. I mean, they had I think a walk-off home run in the first, because they do like a weird funky pool play into like a double elimination deal, but like to win their pool play and go undefeated there, they had like a walk-off home run or something. And then like a tough game against St. Cloud Tech, a tough game against, I think it was Century. So like, they're not an unbattle tested team at all. And then talking with some coaches in the area, I know they were like, well, when we saw this coach is taking over, like we knew what was going to happen. Like, this is how this coach does it. So it's going to be interesting. It's, hey, first time for everything. I think it's their 3rd or 4th year as a program too. So like, getting there, especially in that region, and getting to the World Series, huge deal. But it's going to be, I think it is the unfortunate draw that it's Brookdale in that first round, just because Brookdale's they're going to come out and want to prove something. I mean, Alexandria is going to want to prove something too, but I think Brookdale really got embarrassed in those last 2 games and left it up to the committee. And now, hey, we want to rewrite our last game out there and show that that was just like a complete fluke. And it's going to be, I mean, Brookdale, I mean, again, they were there last year. They returned a huge core of that group that was here last year that went on a run. And I mean, let's just say the Division III committee, I don't know what they do. They always pick the right at-large bid. I'm just going to throw that out there. They usually are really good and have a good track record of picking the at-large bid, and that team being the right team that they should have picked.
So you got the 1 seed Dallas Eastfield trying to break through. You got the 2 seed RCSJ Gloucester trying to make it a 4-peat. And then you got the rest of the field trying to be the upset and shake things up in Johnson City. So what's your prediction for this year?
So I have Eastfield's finally getting over the hump, but they're getting it over Brookdale. So I have Brookdale going inevitably to the losers bracket, and then winner take all game against Brookdale. I think this is what I was saying earlier. I had Brookdale and Eastfield. They end up playing each other 3 times in the World Series, and it just being 3 great games. And Eastfield, let's bring it back to Dallas. And this is not me just being a Dallas homer, but y'all been, anytime you lose 3 straight national titles, I mean, that gives big Bills vibes. Like, no one ever wants to lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. No one ever wants to lose 4 straight national titles. Like, that sucks. And again, you had, I think it was the 2001 World Series was the last time they won it, when current Weatherford coach was their head coach. So, like, I mean, they had that reunion this year, 20-something years or whatever. So it's, I guess the stars are aligning for it being the anniversary, it being that time to kind of come back. So I have Eastfield again winning it, but again, they've been, and again, I have not had them number 1 on any of my stuff, and I've liked a couple other teams, but their offense speaks for itself, and I think it's going to play really well at that field. And they're going to be a problem in pitching and hitting. They're going to be a problem.
So that wraps up our JUCO World Series coverage for D3, D2, and D1. All of the previews and predictions are in, and now we get to play. It all starts on Saturday for all 3 levels. You can watch on the NJCAA Network for D3 and D2, and D1 in Grand Junction available all tournament long on ESPN+. So Noah, thanks for hopping on all season long, and we appreciate you for tuning in to JUCO Hard 90 for all of Season 2. Congratulations to all the teams that made it. We can't wait to watch JUCO World Series baseball on the way starting this weekend.